welcome back to another episode of the Soup Bowl. I am your host, Renee Murdoch, and I am so happy that you are joining on today. You're listening, you're liking, you're sharing, and you're going on this journey with me. And why is that? Because we were never meant to do life alone, and I am so glad to be going on this journey with you. Just remember, you can contact me, you can chat it up, we can talk about topics that you want to just muse around. Hit me up at info@4mosaic.com, or you can contact me at www.4mosaic.com. I'm looking forward to hearing from you and talking to you. If you're struggling and you're like, I need to get through this, I need to make some goals, hey, I'm here for that too. Let's talk about it. Reach out to me again. Today, what are we gonna get into? It's nice and sunny out today. Like, can y'all see the sunlight is coming in today? Yay! Cause I feel like we're about to hit a early winter this year. Hasn't really been hot like in the summer, like you're kind of like used to. We really haven't been experiencing that. So kind of interesting, but hey, all things, happen for a reason, and we're just gonna flow with it. I'm back again from the hiatus. Some will call it the still away, some will call it the sabbatical, some will call it shut it down for a moment, but whatever we want to call it, I say, hey, you too should take a time and go and be with yourself, go be with your family, read a book, do things that you haven't done or really just taken time to do, and get rejuvenated. And I say it again, and we'll keep saying it, do not be concerned or overly consumed about people's responses when you tell them, hey, I'm taking time. I'm not going to be available. I'm not going to be on social media. I'm not going to be at meetings. I'm not going to be doing no work. Just let them know I'm not doing it. And they will be okay until you come back on the scene. Because at the end of the day, we are treating people how to treat us. If you're getting phone calls at midnight, 11 o'clock at night, it's because you have taught people that it's okay to contact you during that time period. And if you're okay with being people contact me at the time period, then that's great. You might be the night owl, and this is when you function and operate, and you don't want nobody contacting you at 5, 6 a.m., 7 a.m., or even 8 a.m., right? And so, again, we teach people how to treat us. I know that I would be answering emails. Like if I see an email, whether it be personal or professional, I usually respond to that email. Like I just don't let it sit there. Like I have to respond to it. And so one thing I had to do was cut the notifications off, and it may say, okay, I'm going to check my email during this time, right? And so it worked out better for me. So yay. And so you got to keep up with those guardrails in place. You know you, and you know the things that will help you get to where you want to be at. And if not, I can help you with that. It's not all about blocking, people. It's not all about blocking. So that might help in the beginning, but you got to have some other things in there in place. So what are we going to talk about today? I want to talk about, because we're in this time and space where we're looking at our leaders across the board, right? From our nation's capital on down to, our everyday, organizations that keep our economy running, right? And we're looking at our leaders, and we're hoping and we're expecting certain responses and certain things going on, and people are frustrated, and they just are angry, disappointed, upset, fearful even, scared, And some people even think that it might even be humorous in some ways. But people have are well, not people have. Well, people have. They have lost hope. People are losing hope, putting their faith into a system that is really not for people, for the onset or on the onset. And so, what do we do with that? What do we do with that? Well, one thing I want to say is do not lose hope. Do not lose hope, because this too shall pass, right? We're not always going to be in this space. You will not always be in this space. So do not let go of your hope. Another thing is, do not fear man. Man only has so much power. Do not fear systems, right? But be on the assignment, the divine assignment that you are supposed to be on, and stay focused. Stay focused. And let's talk about these leaders, right? Let's talk about these leaders, like how we want them to be functioning and operating and responding and making decisions, and they're just not living up to our expectations. And that is where the frustrations come from. That is where the anger is coming from. But do know, I don't want to say but, and do know that the frustration is valid, but is it necessary? Because in frustration, what do? In our frustration, we begin to move a different way, and we even begin to talk a different way. Because I had to correct myself, on last week about this. And so that's why I'm just talking about it. We just going to muse over in my thoughts or whatever in regards to this. But when you are frustrated, you begin to respond and you begin to react and you begin to say things that is not profitable. Not profitable for your spirit, man, and not profitable for those around that you're even communing with. Right? And so we have to be mindful of that it does not change the position in which we are based upon how someone else is leading. Right? So there is a responsibility for leaders in uncertain times. We are in uncertain times. No one thought, in a million years that we would be where we are, or those that's living in this century right now, that we will be where we are as a nation. And everything that is happening is affecting people from the oldest into the youngest, right? From the courthouse into the classrooms, right? Into the grocery stores, into your home, right? Everything is being touched at this point in time. And so, certain people thought they were going to be safe. Guess what? No one is safe. And so how do we, those of us that are in places of influence, how do we move in that? How do we lead our lives in this? How do we lead our teams in this, in uncertainty? If you want to be in a place of being a responsible leader during this time. Number one, I got 3 points and we're going to get up out of here. Number one, be honest about where we are. Like, be honest with yourself. Be honest with your family, right? Be honest with your team. Be honest about where we are. Do not sugarcoat the situation. Don't do that. People are smarter than leaders sometimes give them credit for. Everyone can see around us that there's stuff that's happening. Everyone can see around us that changes have taken place. Don't sugarcoat the situation. Like, do not discount people for their intelligence. That will frustrate them and upset them even more. Can you remember, like, when you were a child and, like, your parent then comes to you and be honest about a situation that was happening in your home? Or maybe your parents were at odds and they were going through a divorce and they didn't tell you, and how frustrated you were and upset you were about that. Or they decided to take a move, like not move like across the street, but no, they were moving to another whole state, and then now you had to go to another school. Remember that feeling that you had, right? So why would you do the same thing to your family or even to your teams? Why would you do that? People are not dumb. People are smart and they are intelligent, and we are human beings and we should be treated as such. Okay? When you gloss over the truth or spin it to positivity, you risk losing credibility, right? So what I mean by spinning the truth is, you know that you have to move. You know you got to move, right? And you're saying everything else other than we have to move. Oh, we're taking a trip. And we have to, pack everything up, and we're going to take a trip, and we're going to come back. And it's like, why would we take everything and then take a trip? Or why would we take a trip and leave everything, right? Like, hello? Like, tell us we got to move. Tell us we have to move because we can no longer afford to stay here. Tell us we have to move because there's a job opportunity somewhere else or whatever. Tell us the truth. Don't try to gloss over it. Don't try to spin it another way and be like, oh, yeah, it's going to be so great. Your school is going to be great, or whatever the case may be. You don't know if the school is going to be great or not. You just know that there's another opportunity, an opportunity to discover something new, an opportunity. And the greatness is what you make of it. Right? Because you could get somewhere and the people are not so nice, but how you respond and how you react may make those not so nice people be nice to you. All right? And the other thing too is honesty earns respect. So if you're not honest with people, then they're not going to respect you. They might respect your position, right? Children respect you as a parent, right? But do they actually respect you as a person? Especially when they find out the truth, the actual truth. When the news finally comes out, right? When the shoe drops, so to speak, they're not going to respect you. But if you're honest with them, it earns their respect. And it's better to respect people as a person versus respect them in their position, right? Because then people are not really going to be following you. They're just kind of like, oh, yeah, okay. Leaders who try to pretend everything is fine, right, is you're actually being disconnected and you're actually looking foolish out there in these streets, right? Like, you think that you're doing something good, you think that you're doing something great by, trying to put up these shields, these force fields in place of people, and trying to spare them their feelings or whatever, and spare them. But the only thing is that you are looking like an actual fool out there. You are looking like a fool. And that is what people are saying. So you're not helping the situation. You're actually harming it even more by not being honest about where we are. If we are in a situation, I remember growing up where we did not have running water at one point, right? The bills didn't get paid. Do you think that my mother ever came to us and sat us down and was like, look, the bills are just too much right now. I'm working and I'm trying to get this bill down to pay this bill. We're going to have to cut back on some things or whatever. I'm doing everything that I can. The water's going to be shut off. But when the water gets shut off, this is what needs to happen. Do you think we got that conversation? No, we didn't get that conversation. We never got a conversation. Oh, let me take that back. We did get a conversation. The conversation was, run the hose from the neighbor next door over here and fill up the water jugs and whatnot. And if y'all want to take, a hot bath or whatever, you're going to have to boil the water. It never was a conversation of why the water got shut off, what we could expect while the water was cut off, and what we should do in the meantime. And this could last for say this time period. No, we never got that conversation. What happened on the other end was resentment that we had towards our mother. Because we like, so you knew, like, the water's gonna get shut off? Like, you knew this? You knew the hot water, like, you knew we weren't gonna have hot water? Like, and you said nothing other than when we came and said that there was no hot water? There's no, like, seriously? And then not knowing how long that was going to be. And it was very interesting. Let me just say during that time. So there is a disconnect, right, from you and your people. Don't let it be a disconnect between you and your team and you and your family. Like, be honest about where we are at this present time. All right, point number two, be transparent and relatable. OMG. Like, we throw this word around, like it's been thrown around, I don't know how many times, like literally, like if we can just make it like $5 every time that we said this word, I would definitely have my home paid off, and I will be able to move from where I'm at now and really, start a whole community, right? A whole block of homes, right? Affordable living for people. Many times we have used this word lately, be transparent. Transparent, think of transparency, right? Like, I want to look, I don't even have my phone right now. I can't look it up real quick. But, hold on, let me see. I just want to make sure before I say this, because I haven't thought about it. All right. Transparent, right, originates from the Latin word transparien, right, meaning to show light through. So you think about transparency, right, through, right, to appear or to come into sight of. So if anything is transparent, right, light is shining through it. You can see it clearly now. Something that was not clear has now become clear, right? And so if I'm saying that I'm going to be transparent, that means that I'm bringing clarity. I am bringing light into a situation. I'm bringing light to where there were darkness, where people was not able to see. That means that I'm bringing vision, and I'm being able to pass it through something to someone else so they can see something. Okay, that's good. I am being transparent. You're able to see now. You're able to grab a hold and see the light, as they say, at the end of the tunnel. All right, so we're throwing this word around. We hear it a lot. And so when we're saying that we're going to be transparent, that means that I'm showing you something that was not seen before. There was a disconnect, or there was, as they say, rumors going around, but now I'm going to be able to negate the rumors and actually show you clarity about really what actually is happening. And so we're not getting that, right? But as a leader that is leading in a responsible way, you're able to give clarity. You're able to shine light on a situation. And in this being transparent and in this being relatable, this is how you're doing it, by showing your humanity. That you are not a robot. That you are experiencing this as well. That you're going through this season with them. That there is, some uncertainty that you're aware of even in this. But how can I do this? Being transparent doesn't mean that I am not And when I say, when I use the word fear, I'm not talking about fear of man, but I'm being transparent enough to say, yes, I understand that this is uncertain. I haven't experienced this. You haven't experienced it. We're experiencing this together. No, I do not know what's going to happen. Yes, we are in challenging times. Yes, this is going to be challenging for us, but we must be realistic in how we're going to go through this. Again, using the example before, not having the water, the hot water, right, not having heat or whatever, is that when I gave the example of, if my mother would have came to us and told us these things, then she's acknowledging the challenge. She's acknowledging that this is what's happening. And she's acknowledging that we got to be realistic in what we're doing right now. I'm not going to pretend like there's no hot water. I'm not going to pretend like there's no heat or whatever. No, I'm letting you know that this is what's happening. And yes, it's going to be challenging. And this is how we can get through this challenge together. You want us to be in this with you and not against you. Because if we're not rallying around one another, then you're the leader, right, is feeling as though they're doing this by themselves. And you don't have to do it by yourself. That pressure that she was feeling, she didn't have to do it by herself. Yes, we were children, but we still could have supported her and rallied around her in that. And this is how you take people through. This is how you get them to see the light. Yes, this is where we are, but this is not where we're always going to be. You're going to explain the why behind the decisions that are being made so people can understand and not just do what you say, right? So again, it's like go hook the hose up, whatever, get the water from the neighbor across the street and run the water from there. Oh, okay, we have to do it because you're our mother and you're telling us to do this. Right? We're minors and we don't have a choice. But even with children, they can understand, right? So even with your teams, they can understand. You're making the decision because of this. You're giving them the why. And then when you're giving them the why, could it be a possibility that they might come up with some other avenues of ways that we can approach this? And that's where it comes to, you're bringing people in to share in this together and not for you to share in this alone. You got to show them that we're in the trenches together and that you're not above them. You're not above them. Like, you're going through this too. You're dealing with these same things too. That you have to be able to speak positivity, and you have to be able to come and dress up every day and show up every day just like them. And you have a family at home and you have responsibilities just like them, right? This is what it says, like, we're going through this together. But as we're going through this together, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to make it through. This is what I see this timeline looking like. That's being responsible as a leader, as the one that's been given the authority right now to lead this group in this time. So we got to be transparent and we have to be relatable. Like, we're not robots. You're not a robot. Let's remember that. And number three, you want to create a space for people's voices to be heard. I know you heard this, but create a space for people's voices to be heard. Right? When I was talking about, if you give the why, right, and let people know what's going on and what their response may be, that you can hear something, you can see something, right, that can help in the situation. We should not be doing things in a vacuum. And I think that was the problem, is that we like to do things in vacuums rather than bringing everybody into this space where we can collaborate together and come up with situations. I am such a fan, right? Even in the family dynamics, always bring the children to the table. They may not understand everything, but they understand some things. And children will surprise you by the things that they say. And you're like, oh snap, I didn't even think about that. Like every time we brought someone into our home, we always took our daughter and set her down and said, hey, this is what's going on. This is what, we would like to do. We want to know what your thoughts are in regards to it and this and that. And hey, look, this is not going to take away from you. This is not going to take away from your private space. You'll still have your privacy. Like we were always giving her the opportunity, right, before like bringing individuals in. We didn't say, hey, they're coming and they're here, or they just showed up and be like, hey, guess what? They're moving in. No, we always gave her the reason why. We gave her, the time span of, of what we believe like this is going to happen. And we laid it down and we just kind of like, hey, well, what do you feel about that? Are you okay with it? Right. And so, every time she would be like, okay, and she would ask questions and we would answer her in those questions. But we were creating a space for her voice to be heard in the situation. Right. In uncertain times, people want more than just directions. They don't need to tell, go over there, get that, bring it back. I need to know what you're doing. Give me these reports or whatever. They need more than just direction. They need to know that they are being seen and that they are being valued. They are not just reports. They are not just, cleaning up or whatever. That's not who we are as individuals. We are human beings and everybody wants to be seen, everybody wants to be heard, and everybody wants to be valued. And how do you do that? You create the space for that to happen. We can not only lead from our past experience. We can't keep saying, oh, when I was a kid, this and that, whatever. Or when I was, working down there in that area, it was this. Times have changed, right? Times have changed. And so we have to be able to recognize that and respect that as well. That, there's some things that are still the same and there's some things that are different. And if you don't provide an atmosphere for people to be honest and be transparent about how they're feeling and for them to share, then you're not going to know that. And you're making decisions based upon when you were there, or you're making decisions based upon your perspective and what you're seeing from where you're sitting at. And that shouldn't always be the case, right? When people are talking, you want to listen with empathy, right? You want to hear what their struggles are, their fears, and even their creative solutions. They're going to have solutions. And it might be off the wall. You might be like, yeah, no, ain't nobody doing that. But you want to be able to hear what they have to say, right? And sometimes those off the wall ideals is just exactly what's needed. It's exactly what's needed, right? And by doing this, you are empowering. You are empowering your group. You're empowering your family, right, to contribute, right, to the challenges that we are facing. And that's what people, they want to be involved. They want to be a part of the solution. And when things come out well or whatever, they're going to be like, oh man, we did that. It's not going to be, I did that. We did that. When you do things on your own and you don't consult people, why do you think they have advisors? Why do you think the construct of the family construct was, created? Is because we need the thought processes of other people. We have blind spots. And the only way that they're going to be pointed out is if we have other people that we are collaborating with. That's the only way we're going to do it. So we're about time. Okay, I have lots more to say about this, but just remember, right, that number one, be honest about where we are, right? Don't take people for fools. Be transparent and relatable, helping people see the clarity of the situation and letting them know that you're human too, right? And then you want to create a safe space. Psychological safety is needed in these times, right? leadership in uncertain times is less about having all the answers. We do not know everything, and don't give a sense that you do, because that's pride, and you should not be operating in pride. We should not be operating in pride. It's more about guiding with integrity, humanity, and the other big H word is humility. Oh yeah, that's another topic. But people will forgive our mistakes, right? They will forgive your mistakes, because we're going to make mistakes as we're doing this, as we're leading our lives and leading others. We're going to make mistakes, but people will forgive your mistakes if they trust your character and they respect you in the process. And that's why in the very beginning, when I was talking about the respect thing, so you want people to respect you as a person and not in just your position. So, all right, that's it for now. Good people, I love you, and I hope to hear from you soon. Like I said, chat me up, www.4mosaic.com. Hit me up. Let's chat about it. Do know that leading is teachable. And until next time, peace.